It says I am live. Ooh, I'm alive. I am live. I am live. So, welcome everyone. I'm here a minute early because I'm excited to be here. I am really excited that you are here. And so, I am going to wait just a moment till some people show up. And if you're here, I am thankful for you. I am going to be reading my chapter from the book collaboration, Letters to a Future Nurse. And if you are here listening, awesome. I'm so happy you're here. You might want to just write me a comment in there. Let me know that you are watching, that you are here with me. So, and that you can hear me. Make sure you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me. That way I can make sure that you can hear me. It's always a good thing. Yeah. So here I am, ready to go. 2 o'clock, 1 minute early because I was so excited. And I'm going to be reading my chapter in Letters to a Future Nurse. So, oh good. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Dale. Oh, yay. I have Bumpy running around in the background. He is excited too. You might hear him. You could probably hear him meowing. If you can hear him meowing, he's excited. And yeah, so I want to tell you a little bit about this book collaboration. And I'm going to show you the book. Here it is. Letters to a Future Nurse. And I see Dale Barzipon. She is on the call or on this Facebook Live too, and she is one of our authors. So yay! I'm gonna love your commentary here. And hi, Melissa. Melissa is a big supporter of all nurses, so I'm glad you are here, Melissa. And Dale, she has her own YouTube channel, which is called, what is that called? Why am I having a brain fart? Nurses Talking. I remember now. Nurses Talking. Dale, you should shoot your link to your YouTube into the comments so people can follow your YouTube channel because you are sharing amazing stories from nurses in a live format. And here we go. I'm going to start reading the book in a moment, my chapter in a moment. So Letters to a Future Nurse. This is a book collaboration from 22 different nurses from around the world. It is an Amazon international bestseller, and it's an Amazon bestseller in multiple categories. And we've had a really successful book collaboration. And these are incredible stories from 22 different nurses. Just one snippet of the amazing experiences that these nurses and us nurses have had. And it was super fun to be part of a book collaboration. I had never, ever written in a book. I've never been an author. You know, I've written blogs and I love writing and I enjoy writing in a journal on occasion. And my English teacher used my writings as examples for other students. So that's pretty cool when I was in college. And I really enjoy letters and writing and all that stuff. And I will say Melissa is on this call, Melissa Mills, who is a real author too. And she has her master's in creative writing. And she's a good friend of mine. And yeah, so anyways, I thought, well, I read this post on one of the groups that I'm involved in. And it was asking for nurses to be part of this book collaboration. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't know what I'm doing. Little gremlins on your shoulder saying, oh, you shouldn't do that. You don't have the experience to be writing a book, blah, 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 blah. And then I thought, well, what the hell? I'm going to be part of this book collaboration. So we had our little Facebook group. We would meet, we would chat, we would get to know each other. And it was actually really nice because it was towards the end of when we were still really uncertain in COVID. We were still wearing masks. We were still somewhat being isolated depending upon where we were living. And having this book collaboration and this connection with fellow nurses was really something special because we had something to look forward to. We were trying to share stories that could inspire nurses, especially during this traumatic time of COVID, and also the struggles of of being a nurse in general, which is a very difficult profession to be part of. We are constantly giving of ourselves. There's a lot of suffering and sorrow. Right now, a lot of nurses are leaving being a nurse. They're leaving their profession because it's such a hard job to do. And that's really troubling for me, especially. And so we thought that this book could help support our fellow nurses by bringing inspirational stories to life and helping nurses recognize that they're not alone, that they can connect with story, connect with other nurses in this way, and be part of something special. So we were super duper excited because we didn't have a person to do our foreword. And our inspiring nurse that put us all together and got everything going, her name is Leah Parker. And we thank Leah for even conceptualizing this idea to bring us all together and bring these nursing stories together. And she's the lead author on the book, Leah Parker. She was able to ask and, on a whim pretty much like, hey, a real live nurse theorist to do our foreword. And that real live nurse theorist is Jean Watson. And she does amazing work, and she's really focused on well-being of nurses and helping support nurses. I was actually on a call yesterday, which was a healing circle for grief. And it was led by the Healing Way from Jean Watson's work. So Dr. Jean Watson. And it was a very powerful call. We recognize that grief is a feeling, is an emotion. And just because maybe we aren't experiencing death, or even if we are experiencing death, grief can come in many forms. It doesn't have to be just because of death. It could be because of loss, a loss of a job, a loss of who you are. Losing something and facing that is a form of grief. And so on that call yesterday, because of Jean Watson's work and her intention of really supporting nurses, we had about 25 nurses on the call supporting each other through this grief that we're experiencing. And I'm going to read her foreword because it's very powerful. So, the foreword of Letters to a Future Nurse by Jean Watson. This delightful book will stir the hearts and minds and motivations of anyone considering nursing as a lifelong career of sacred service to humanity and to our world. This collection of stories that awaken the heart and longing to help make the world a better place in service to human conditions of our time, in sickness and death, and all in between. The personalized messages from experienced nurses open the mind for future nurses to enter and vicariously embrace and experience the joys and struggles of nurses, shared experiences with patients and families. It introduces and affirms nursing's global covenant to caring, healing, health, and wholeness in midst of despair, pain, loss, and grief, along with joy and celebrations. This collection helps us all to find meaning and purpose for self-other in ways one may never know. It opens us to mystery and miracles along the way for a life-giving and life-receiving career of heart, mind, soul, and infinite love. This book is heart-centered and an inspiration for future and current nurses representing 6 countries and 17 United States as an invitation and evocation to the beauty and blessings of nursing. It can offer insight and authentic views of nursing for anyone considering nursing career for a life of giving and purpose. Thank you, Dr. Jean Watson, for writing us a beautiful foreword. And thank you to all of my fellow authors. And I'm going to say their names because it's nice to have their names said. So Leah Parker, Charlotte Bailey, Belle de Leon Bradford, Brittany Caldwell, Melissa Cayoy, Elizabeth Collins, Tiffany Diffley, Sylvia Bigma. Sorry, I'm mispronouncing names because we always went by first names. Emerlyn Bebs, Deshoso Dominguez, Diane Founds, Tiffany Freckleton, Kelsey Levache. I got to put my glasses on. Goodness gracious. I am aging. That is okay. I am doing it with power. Janet Burns Holiday, Willow Merchant, Jackie O'Connor, Dale Barzy Pond, Tracy Powell, Melissa Schlosser, Amber Schuneman, Edwin Tayo, Keith Thierry, and Nicole A. Vienneau. Forward by Dr. Jean Watson, nursing theorist. Okay, so I wrote one chapter, and I thought, as I was thinking, because we were asked, what are we going to write about? Because I have a bajillion stories. You can imagine, as a nurse for 25 plus years, almost 3 decades of nursing, what the heck am I going to write about? I have so many stories. How am I going to write one story? How do I pick? How do I choose? And I don't think I'd be where I am if I didn't have and make the connections that I've had over the years. I don't think I'd be surviving this profession of nursing without nurse friends. Nurses get fellow nurses. I mean, there's nobody else who can truly understand what a nurse does except another nurse. Truly. You can try to understand, but man, as a nurse, trying to explain all the stuff we go through, it's very energy draining. And instead, I can just be with another nurse and they're my nurse friend. And right away, they get me, I get them. And because of that instant connection, even though we might have different specialties or different focuses, we can still get it. We see so many things of the human experience that those things can't be explained sometimes, and you have to experience them to really truly understand. And so fellow nurses get that. We get that. So I decided that I would write about one experience that I have had with one nurse friend. Now, I will say I have a bajillion nurse friends, and I have nurse friends from decades of being a nurse. And this one story just really stuck out to me because it's both funny and traumatizing and scary and anticipatory. You get on the edge of your seat. That's how I felt in this situation. And I wanted to bring it to life. Now, some of the stories in this book are so heartwarming. And when my book got published and I started reading everybody else's story, and I was like, dang, I did not write a truly inspiring, loving, caring story. Instead, I wrote this funny story. And then I thought, you know what, Nicole, it's okay. I wrote from my heart, and I wrote because I wanted to just share one element of nursing in a exciting way. And yeah, there are those heartfelt moments. I could have written a whole bunch of stories on that, but I decided, hey, I'm going to tell a real life story of being an intensive care nurse and what we went through and some of the stuff that led up to it. Okay, so I'm ready. Are you ready? Please give me an emoji here and there or a comment that says, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to hear you read your story because I've been here a few minutes talking about this. And I thank you once again for being here with me. It's very, very, very loving that you're here with me. I really appreciate that. Okay, are you ready? You ready? Write in the comments, I am ready. Okay, here we go. Chapter 14. Nurse Friends by Nicole A. Vienneau, MSN RN NC BC. Call 911! My nurse friend Leslie shouted as she lost consciousness, slid limply down the wall, and crumpled to the floor. Everyone froze as Leslie lay motionless on the ICU floor. Leslie and I met on the first day of intensive care nursing school. And I will just say this is not part of my script here, but my friend Jennifer Boyer Farwell is on this call. And Jenny, Jenny B, she was in this class with me. Can I get a whoop whoop for Jenny Boyer? Jenny B. We have been friends for decades, and I'm so thankful for you, and thank you for showing up here on this call with me. Okay, so back to the story. Leslie's on the ICU floor. She called 911. Call 911. So Leslie and I met on the first day of intensive care nursing school. It was the first day of my new job in Las Vegas, Nevada. My sister, who's also a nurse, wanted me closer to her and found me the only job they had at her hospital, critical care, also known as intensive care. I'll take it, I said. I had zero experience in ICU, and I had zero experience in Las Vegas. And still, I courageously uprooted my entire life in Canada. I jumped on a plane with my belongings packed into 2 suitcases, my rollerblades, my violin, and the fresh perspective of a new nurse ready to change the world. I appreciate the flexibility and opportunity that a nursing career brings. We can travel anywhere in the world, change specialties when we want, and meet incredible people, patients, and fellow incredibly gifted nurses along the way. Have I mentioned I had no experience in the ICU? On the first day of ICU class, 10 of us took an ICU exam to see how much we knew so the teacher could plan a curriculum to meet the class's needs. Talk about vulnerability. As I read each question, I felt my stomach and soul drop lower and lower to the ground. As a type A personality who is accustomed to always doing well, I had to face the facts that I knew zero about the job I gave up my Canadian life for. I scored the lowest on the exam in class. I didn't just score the lowest. I bombed the test. They're going to send me home, dumb Canadian girl, I thought. I couldn't have been further from the truth. Instead of sending me home, the teacher and my ICU nurse classmates fully supported me in my learning. My new nurse friends wanted me to succeed, do well, and care for myself. Nursing is such an incredible career, and there are so many things I want to tell you about. One unique characteristic I love about nursing is the friendships we make. No one understands a nurse like a fellow nurse, so it's easy to make lasting relationships if you are courageous and willing to ask for help and show an eagerness to want to be a great nurse friend. In this rigorous 16-week ICU class, I met my special nurse friend, Leslie. I met 2 of my dearest to this day nurse friends, Jennifer and Jolene, too. However, this story is about Leslie, and perhaps another day I'll write about the many Jennifer and Jolene escapades we've shared. Leslie is from Louisiana. She is a 5'2" ball of positive energy with a full-on Louisiana drawl. She has super curly, shiny brown hair, sparkling brown, compassionate eyes, and a lightly freckled pert nose. Leslie is quick as a whip, with clever wit and a contagious, high-pitched laugh. And she is as smart can be. She scored top of the class of that dreaded ICU test, and I secretly wanted to be Leslie. And we became fast nurse friends, to my joy. One day, after the ICU class, Leslie stopped me in the ICU hall. Her square spectacles perched at the end of her perky nose, which I had learned always meant business. Can you help me? Some crazy surgeon wants to do a fasciotomy at the bedside. I have no idea what to expect, and I need help. Me neither, I secretly thought. So, of course, I said yes. And off we went into the unknown to make stuff happen. This is the beauty of connecting authentically with nursing colleagues who eventually become lifelong nurse friends. You drop the baloney of pretending you know everything and you ask for their assistance. And when a nurse friend asks for your help, you stop what you're doing and help. Always. A fasciotomy is usually done in the operating room, not at the bedside, even in the ICU. It's a sterile surgical procedure to release pressure in a closed system. In this patient's case, blood was seeping from a vessel, a vein, or worse, an artery, into his leg. His heart was beating fast, and with each pump, blood was seeping into areas it's not supposed to, compressing muscles, nerves, and other blood supply to his leg. If the blood can't reabsorb fast enough, and if left to drip uncontrollably, it fills up the space it's draining into. It's like a pressure cooker, and it's not good. You can imagine a pressure cooker, right? The lid is on tight, food bubbling inside, heat building, food compacting and cooking. Don't touch it, or it'll explode. I wondered why we're doing a fasciotomy at the bedside. Can't be that bad, I thought. So I followed Leslie into her patient's room. Nurses have exceptional skills and can assess any room in under 30 seconds. Male, around 55 years old, sedated. It was hard to distinguish his face since it was the color of his bed sheet. The ventilator was swooshing air in and out, chest rising, breath out, chest falling, every breath even and rhythmic. EKG rhythm was tachycardic, thankfully sinus. Very low blood pressure, likely hypovolemic. 4 IV pumps, 2 pressors. I wondered what his leg looked like. My heartbeat was steady, and my respiratory rate was even. I knew this. We could do this. We were trained for this. Plus, Leslie knew what to do. Leslie pulled back the crisp bed sheet to expose his leg. My eyes shot open. My breath stopped and my jaw dropped to the floor. I was looking at an overstuffed, uncooked sausage, ready to explode. There were no pedal pulses, and his leg and foot were like ice. When is the surgeon coming? This was a dire situation. This guy could lose his leg and, given his vitals and an inner knowing in my gut, his life. This was not a good situation at all. I looked to the all-knowing Leslie. Her eyes were wider than mine, and her complexion was the same color as the patient's, white. I had never seen her like this. I gently clasped her hands, looked her squarely in the eyes, and said, "We've got this. We could do anything together. This is what we've trained for." Her cheeks began to pinken. Whew! I shout to the desk, "Call the surgeon, stat! Get him here now!" With a whirlwind of equipment, sterile fields, gowns, gloves, and controlled chaos, we skillfully and effortlessly prepared the patient as the surgeon arrived. I was both excited and anxious. Wow, we were doing this! After prepping the patient's leg, the surgeon held a steady scalpel to the patient's pale blue, cold, and pulseless skin. The room was silent, except the steady swish of the ventilator's in and out breath. One small slice, kapow! A jet of red bursts from his leg like an exploding geyser, and blood splatters high to the ceiling and rains down on everyone's blue surgical gowns. We all gasped. Expletives were exchanged, and suddenly, cool, calm, and collected Leslie screamed at the top of her lungs, "Call 911!" Her petite body limply slid down the wall as she lost consciousness. I thought for sure she was dead. I ensured the patient and surgeon were stable and went to my dear nurse friend's aid. I gently cradled her head. She looked so peaceful. I assessed her, making sure she was safe and stable. And slowly her eyes flickered open and she asked, "What happened?" I told her, "You yelled 911 and passed out." "I know," she said quietly. I hollered, "Call 911. And then," she paused, "I realized we are 911. I think that realization made me pass out." And she burst into hysterical laughter, and so did I. In fact, the whole room erupted with hilarity. And then we returned to business, ensuring our patient was okay. At that moment, filled with so many emotions, I solidified my love for my dear nurse friend, Leslie, and I knew we'd be friends forever. Nurse friendships are a uniquely special element of nursing. No one understands the ins and outs of a normal day on the job as a nurse. No one, except a fellow nurse. When you recognize the powerful connections and relationships of those you work with, laugh with, get angry with, share energy with, cry with, and work with, you realize the exceptional support your fellow nurse friends give you and your life at work and at play. Nurse friends will be there for you, lift you up, cry with you, giggle knowingly, and tell you the truth. They will be your biggest ally. Stand up for your cause, hold your hand, hug, and sit beside you in silence. Your nurse friends will always talk about poop and gross things at fancy dinners, and will always be willing to dance. Nurse friends will pick you up when you pass out during a critical procedure and laugh hysterically when you wake up. And they've always, always, always got your back, just like you've got theirs. This is the first time I've read my story out loud. So I'm so thankful that you joined me. Thank you, Jennifer. I like reading. Yes. Oh, thank you, Melissa. I love you. Having worked side by side with you, I know that you're the best nurse. I'm excited to read this book. Big love to you and all nurses. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I appreciate you so much. Remember to love on all the nurses that you meet. They're doing hard work out there, and they need all the love and support as possible. So please grab your books, Letters to a Future Nurse. You can get them on Amazon. You just Google it. It comes up. If you want a signed copy, let me know, and I can absolutely sign one and mail it to you. So you don't have to, just let me know. Just send me an email. I can put my email in the text, Nicole@BlueMonarchHealth.com, and I would be happy to send you one. All right, my friends, nurse friends or not, I love you so much. You are so loved. And thank you for spending this time with me. Yes, I would love that, Jenny B. I do need to make a trip over to the East Coast, so. Love to you all. I'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.